secrets to treating plantar fasciitis. I know that for myself, I have struggled for years with plantar fasciitis, and these are some of the things that really helped me overcome plantar fasciitis. We're going to be talking about some of the things that didn't work and all of the things that I did do that did work, so that you know personally how to treat your plantar fasciitis. What is plantar fasciitis? Usually it's something where you're walking and then you get this intense pain in the foot, or up against the heel. You might have like a little lump or like a knot. You know how we get like these certain knots from tightness? So you might have like a knot right in here with your plantar fasciitis. For me, I've been a professional dancer and I started getting really bad plantar fasciitis in my feet. It prevented me from jumping, it prevented me from dancing to my full potential, and I really wanted to get fully back. And so this is how I personally was able to go about treating my plantar fasciitis and get back into dancing. I think if you follow these 7 ways of treating plantar fasciitis, you will see better results for your feet and be able to walk free of pain. So let's get started into how to treat plantar fasciitis. So you might be able to go to a massage therapist or a trigger point therapist and get them to really work and massage your foot. You can do it yourself, and you can just, dig in there with your thumbs. I recommend massaging it maybe for 2 minutes to 3 minutes a day. You can work yourself up to that amount, and you can do it several times a day, but just do it a little bit every once in a while, especially at the very beginning of the day before you even get out of bed. Massage that foot out, because when you take that first step in the morning, usually it's all tight from the night and sleeping, and so you want to really massage it out, stretch it out so that you don't get that pain when you first hit the floor. The other thing that I recommend is a tennis ball. If you don't want to go to a massage therapist, this is a way of saving money, and I just use the tennis ball on my foot. I'll actually just roll it around, and sometimes I'll stand up. You can stand up and just put that pressure on the foot where you need it. And this is actually a lacrosse ball. I don't recommend lacrosse balls as much with plantar fasciitis when you're first getting started. I recommend the tennis ball, because the tennis ball is a little bit lighter. It's not as harsh on the foot. The lacrosse ball is a little bit too hard to begin with, so I recommend getting a tennis ball and massaging out the foot, and then you can, once you're starting to get a lot better, you can use a lacrosse ball if you want something a little bit harder. I've tried all sorts of types of different balls, but these are the 2 that I feel like are my go-to balls for massaging. Massage yourself out for 2 to 3 minutes and do it 3 to 5 times a day. And that will really help get this entire muscle stretched out. So we know that scar tissue can prevent our range of motion. It can prevent us from doing things that we want to be able to do. And Icing was another method that I used with a physical therapist, and I went to this physical therapist and he used Icing. It's usually a plastic, I'm gonna say utensil, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's a plastic utensil that they use, and they use it along the foot in different ways to stretch out and help break up that scar tissue that you have or have built up within your foot, and it promotes healing. Usually for me personally, it created a little bit of inflammation to actually promote healing again, and it was pretty painful, in particular the day after. So it's okay if you don't see, day after results. Usually I felt like I was walking out of there and I was like, man, I feel amazing. And then it was the day after, how you're sore after a massage. I was extremely sore. I had this Icing done actually from here all the way down. Because all of the muscles I knew were connected. So I actually asked my physical therapist to do A-stim all the way down. And so my entire leg felt extremely like inflamed and painful. Something to take care of with that is icing. We know ice helps with inflammation. And so if you use ice after A-stim, that can help promote the healing. People get certified in A-stim, so find someone who is certified in your area. Ask a doctor who might recommend a physical therapist who's certified in that specific area so that they can help you with that process. Okay, so the other thing is TheraBand exercises. We want to do strengthening exercises for the feet because sometimes our feet get weak in different areas, and then that's not good. So TheraBand exercises, I can find my other TheraBand, but this one will do. Just, I don't know, so much better than this. But anyway, TheraBand exercises, you can do flexing and pointing, and that really works the arches of the foot. And then the other exercise is, this is a mat you can use, and you can step on it and do exercises that really help with the foot control. So balancing exercises. So you'll stand up on it and you'll just stand on one foot. And if you want to really get it good, you can start to, like if you're good at that and just standing, you can start to add with closing your eyes and then moving your head from one side to the next and up and down. And that also strengthens the muscles in the foot. It's really good for if you have, you know, ankle sprains as well and other type of injuries within the foot and ankle. But I recommend this for plantar fasciitis. Strengthening the muscles within the calf and around the foot is also good when you do calf raises. Keeping the leg straight, putting this leg beside it, and then just going up and down, and up and down. And you can build up to that for, I teach my dancers to do it for 30 times, and it's really difficult. In particular, so let's say you're going up, I tend to sometimes start wanting to go this way, so make sure that you're going straight up with the foot, and that builds some strength and muscle along the foot with other things, and you're thinking and concentrating about muscles. You're not concentrating on combinations or whatever, but really think about what you're doing and articulating through the foot as you releve. So your shoes are also important. Get good inserts. I recommend, my doctor recommended like a specific different insert for my shoes, and I would just switch it out from shoe to shoe, but find good inserts for your shoes that you're walking in from day to day. And a good like running or tennis shoe is also helpful for me being a dancer. And the shoes that are point shoes in particular, I think those are important. There were some shoes that just didn't fit me right, and I think that caused me to get my plantar fasciitis a little bit more aggravated as a dancer. So if you're a dancer as well, get good point shoes that fit you well. You know, it was interesting when I was talking to my doctor who you know, told me that I had plantar fasciitis. He was like, you know, do you feel better in the classroom as a dancer in flat shoes, or do you feel better in like point shoes? And to my great surprise, I felt better in point shoes because it felt like it held my foot a little bit more. So I actually started doing point work from the beginning of, you know, plies and onward, and it actually helped and benefited my dancing in the long run because I was constantly in point shoes. And that's hard for us as dancers to be in point shoes longer, but for me, I just found that it did help my feet with regards to plantar fasciitis. So think about for you, what helps your foot a little bit more just to get over the hurdle of plantar fasciitis. You don't want to do that probably long term because you're already in point shoes a ton, but if you have good point shoes that fit you well, then try to use the point shoes and then work your way back to flat shoes or being barefoot when you need to be. Okay, so stretching. Stretching is also important for just stretching all of the back and along toward the foot. Me as a dancer, I was constantly pointing my foot and stretching with my foot pointed, but that wasn't stretching here. And so for me, if I really flexed and did calf stretches, if I, stepped on, let's say, a stair and dropped my heel down, that was a good stretch. But also, if you just, I don't know if you can see this in the video, but if you lay back, keep your back flat when you can. I'm not gonna be able to do this. When you lay back, instead of keeping your foot pointed and going up, you also want the opposite arm. I feel like it's better than supporting this leg here. But when you stretch, then flex your foot. Now, if you have nerve pain or damage, that is a completely different thing. And so you might want to talk to your doctor or physical therapist or other provider about this. But for plantar fasciitis, stretching a back along the hamstring all the way up through the Achilles tendon and that plantar fasciitis and really getting that stretch, that's good. If you can't reach, and I'm having trouble reaching my TheraBand, you can get like some sort of band or something, maybe not a TheraBand, but maybe a towel, and you can just stretch the foot, let's say, here, if you can't reach. So anyway, that's that. So stretching that hamstring. Also, if you're a dancer again and you're stretching in a split, try flexing your foot because again, that is helpful for the plantar fasciitis. Think about flexing those feet up and really getting that good deep stretch along the hamstring all the way down and through the foot. Okay, so I know that I already talked a little bit about icing, but I want to talk about it again. There are other ways of icing our foot. So getting a bucket and filling it with a little bit of water plus ice and then sticking your foot in it. It's extremely cold and hard to handle, but if you can handle it, it gets everything all around the foot, and I think that that's probably one of the most helpful ways I have found for icing my foot. You can just ice normally by putting something up against it, trying to keep the foot a little bit more flexed, not just like pointed. And then an ice water bottle. I would use an ice water bottle before I would go to bed, and I would just sit there on the side of my bed and roll my foot back and forth with an ice water bottle before bed. And I would do that for, 20 minutes. And it's hard to do, so, for me, I just grab my phone and watch something or look at something that I need to do or talk to someone to keep my mind off of all the icing if possible. Okay, so another point is nutrition and supplements. Magnesium helps relax the muscles. You can get magnesium through, a supplement that you take internally. You can also buy magnesium, I've forgotten what it's called exactly, but a magnesium is like a gel almost, or something that you just put over your skin, like almost like a cream. It feels a little bit more like arnica gel, but anyway, you just put it on your foot and you can put that before you go to bed. But getting magnesium helps relax the muscles in the foot. So add magnesium to your diet if you are struggling with plantar fasciitis. Magnesium is the #1 and healing component to also helping relax that muscle. And I recommend about 500 milligrams of magnesium, getting that into your diet. Vitamin B5 also helps relax and heal the plantar fasciitis as well. So add vitamin B5, and then lastly, vitamin C helps with the absorption of vitamin B5. So adding a little bit of vitamin C in a supplement or getting it through nutrition can also help with that absorption. So again, magnesium, vitamin B5, and then vitamin C to help heal that plantar fasciitis. Lastly, changing our diet is not the most fun thing, but cutting out foods that inflame the body. So it might be sugars or processed food. Cutting those things out can also help prevent the buildup of inflammation. So cutting those things out of your diet will help again heal that plantar fasciitis for you if you're looking at other natural ways to heal your plantar fasciitis. All right, so ultrasound. Ultrasound was another thing that I did. I actually got an ultrasound machine myself, and every single day I used the ultrasound machine. It helps with the healing process. I had a physical therapist who showed me how to use it and learn how to use it. But I got an ultrasound machine and just, got the gel, got the frequencies of what I needed to do every single day. But if you have a physical therapist, particularly who can do that ultrasound for you, I would recommend that they do that on the outside of your foot. There is actually, I recently learned, which has been out there for a while, but did not know about it, another type of ultrasound, I believe, that is inserted into your foot through like a needle or something. I did not have this ultrasound done, so that is not the ultrasound that I am speaking of when I'm talking about this. Mine was done on the outside of my foot, not in my foot, or however that is done. So I don't know much about that, but that is information you can look into. I think you would be put into a boot if you had that done, and it takes a little bit longer. So I kind of recommend some of the other ways first, and if you really can't get healing, maybe looking at that a little bit later. But there are lots of other ways that you can heal plantar fasciitis, so try them out first. Other things I did that actually did not work. So the things that did not work for me personally was electrical stimulation with a steroid. They attached it to my foot. My body did not handle the steroid very well, and it actually completely swelled up. And I couldn't walk on it very well. So that for me personally did not work. You again can try it. Some people, I guess, have had better results for that, but that for me personally did not work. Athletic tape is something a lot of people use. For me, it didn't work very well. It seemed like it helped at the beginning, but in the long run, I think it didn't allow my foot to move like it needed to move, and it was preventing mobility in the foot. And I mean, plantar fasciitis is somewhat caused by us not having the strength that we need, and so I don't really recommend athletic tape unless you are like imperative need and you are like about to perform or about to race or something, that you are really needing to do, that you don't want to back out on. But in the long run, I don't think it is helpful. So I don't recommend athletic tape actually, specifically for plantar fasciitis. Lastly, night splints, I don't recommend. And here is why. It did make my plantar fasciitis feel better, but I felt like I got more results from doing these other things that I mentioned before than just using a night splint. Also, when I used a night splint, I found that, I found attached here, or, you know, the splint. But then my foot started sliding in the night like this, and it was starting to put pressure up here on my knee. And so I started having knee pain as a result of doing this nightly gizmo thing. Again, it did help with the plantar fasciitis, but then I was starting to get other bad things that were happening, and so to me it just wasn't worth it. I don't recommend night splints. If you can, I mean, and the doctor is highly recommending it and you're set on it, really try to pack pillows there or there to help, you know, brace, and hopefully you won't move at night like I do. I'm a mover at night. I move all over the place. So maybe that was just me personally again. I'm a crazy mover at night. But yeah, I mean, I tried pillows as well to try to like support it and everything, but for me personally, it did not work. So again, you can try it, but for me, it didn't work. Work back in slow. So with every injury, we have to sometimes take a little bit of a step back with whatever we are doing, and that's a struggle. So if you're still wanting to exercise, I recommend doing, you know, pool exercises, Pilates, where your feet, you're not like on your feet. You don't have gravity and all of that. So find other exercises that will help support you and strengthen other muscles so that you're not just laying around doing nothing. Then work back slow. You know your body better than anybody else does. It is very difficult for me. I start to feel pressure from, you know, seeing my other fellow dancers, you know, get ahead, and it's hard not to, you know, want to push myself and get back in quickly. But honestly, in the long run, if you take it a little bit slower now, you will be able to improve and then get back to your fullest potential later on. So go slow, listen to your body, and do what you need to do. When summer intensives come around, or you're all of a sudden, you're an athlete and your amount of hours goes incredibly up with whatever you are doing, that is making you prone to having injuries just hit you. So try to work your hours slowly up, not from here to all of a sudden here, but slowly gaining so that you don't have that potential for injuries to come and hit you. Yeah, plantar fasciitis is what hit me as one of them, and it happened during a summer intensive. So be gentle on yourself, listen to your body. If there's something that is ailing you, take a step back. I struggled with plantar fasciitis for maybe, I think it was around 2 years, and I thought I would never come out of it. I thought that, you know, this was just a lifelong thing. My dad had it, I was prone to it, I would just suffer from it. And you can recover from plantar fasciitis. So do these methods, do these different things, talk to your doctor, talk to your physical therapist. Again, I am not a doctor, so I don't know everything that's out there, but these are a lot of the things that are out there for plantar fasciitis that can help you heal from it. And I guarantee you, if you follow these things, if you work with your doctor or healthcare professional, they will be able to help you overcome plantar fasciitis. I'll leave you with a verse that really encouraged me during this time when I was suffering from plantar fasciitis, so you can meditate on it. Isaiah 56:7. How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news, who proclaim peace, who bring good tidings, who proclaim salvation, who say to Zion, our God reigns. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and that's it for today. I hope you find all of these things helpful and that you can be happy, healthy, and well. Bye! All done.
I like to.
Wow.